Today, August 31st. Archangel Michael says, "It's an emergency, a shocking deal is made behind your back. This is about your future, God is very angry at your daughter. Open immediately." Archangel Michael says, "I have been watching closely, and what I must reveal today is not something that can wait. The moment I speak these words, I know they will stir the deepest part of your heart, because this is not a casual warning. This is an urgent call from heaven itself. Behind your back, a dangerous and shocking agreement has been made, one that can twist your future into something unrecognizable if you do not act quickly. This deal was not formed in the light of truth, but in the shadows of deceit. In whispers spoken where your name was only used as a pawn. You are not just facing an ordinary betrayal. This is a calculated move designed to cut you off from what rightfully belongs to you. The people involved know exactly what they are doing, and the weight of their intentions could cause damage for years to come if left unchecked. This betrayal is not from strangers. The ones involved have been close enough to hear your thoughts, see your dreams, and understand your vulnerabilities. That is why it is so dangerous, because they know exactly where to strike so it hurts the most, and they have already begun moving pieces into place. But there is something more, something that twists this even deeper. This matter is not just about wealth, or property, or influence. This is also about a moral wound that has opened between heaven and your household. The truth is heavy, but it must be spoken now. The source of heaven's greatest sorrow in this matter is your daughter. God's eyes have seen her actions, her decisions, and the influence she has allowed into her heart. She has been entangled in this plan in ways you might not have imagined, and whether knowingly or not, she has placed herself in alignment with forces that do not wish you well. This is not a condemnation of her soul, but a warning of her path. She has been pulled into a current of manipulation, promised something she believes will elevate her life. But in truth, it will harm both her and you. And the one guiding her into these decisions is someone whose intentions are rooted in selfishness and greed. I can see the moment clearly in the spiritual realm, the signing of papers, the exchange of private information, the promise of something in return. These are not harmless actions, they are agreements that could strip away the stability you have worked so hard to build. Do not ignore the signs you've been feeling lately, the strange conversations she cuts short when you walk in, the defensive tone when you ask questions, the sudden secrecy over her movements and communications. These are not coincidences, they are the ripples of a larger wave heading straight toward you. In the heavenly archives, there is a record of every intention, every hidden thought, and every whispered conversation, and right now, those records reveal that the plan against you is already well underway. This deal is being pushed with urgency because the ones behind it know that if you find out in time, you can stop them. Ban's anger is not because of a single mistake your daughter made, it is because of a series of choices she continues to make without repentance. She has been warned through signs, through dreams, even through people who tried to advise her, but she continues down this road. The longer she walks in this direction, the harder it will be to turn her back. That is why the message to you is urgent. Because you have a window of opportunity to intervene, to protect what is yours, and to guide her away from destruction. You will soon see physical proof of what I am telling you. A document, a message, or a conversation will confirm everything. When that moment comes, you must act without hesitation, for hesitation will give them the advantage. Archangel Michael says, I have been ordered by the throne to protect you in this moment, but I cannot shield you if you choose not to hear. The spiritual forces moving against you are subtle in appearance, but ruthless in execution. They do not fight with open swords, they fight with lies, with contracts, with manipulation that leaves you questioning your own instincts. I can tell you this much, there is a man at the center of this plan who has been whispering into your daughter's ear. He does not approach her as an enemy, but as a friend, a confidant, even as a savior in disguise. But his true intention is to turn her loyalty away from you, so she will unknowingly become a bridge for him to take what he wants from you. Your enemies understand that if they can reach her, they can reach you. And they are right, because a parent's heart will always feel the weight of their child's decisions. That is why they have targeted her instead of coming at you directly. This is not just a financial or personal battle, it is a spiritual one. Every decision being made now is echoing into your future. And if the deal goes through, it will chain you to consequences that could take years to break. I must warn you, the atmosphere in your home will shift soon, the tension will rise, arguments may flare, and misunderstandings may multiply. This will not be by accident, but by design, because those involved want division between you and your daughter. The more you are at odds, the easier it will be for them to finalize what they've started. In the spiritual vision I am being shown, there is a table with papers spread across it, and I see your name written in bold letters, but it is not you who placed it there. Someone else has been using your identity, your reputation, and your trust to give weight to their plans. The good news is that this can still be stopped. God's mercy is still extending to you, but the time is short. If you confront this with wisdom and courage, the very deal meant to harm you can collapse in the hands of those who planned it. You must move with precision. Speak only to those you trust deeply. Document everything you see, and do not allow emotional outbursts to cloud your strategy. In moments like this, calm clarity is your greatest weapon. Archangel Michael says, you must understand, the enemy works in layers. The deal made behind your back is only the outer layer of a much deeper web. The deeper you look, the more you will see the fingerprints of people you never suspected. Individuals who wore smiles in your presence yet spoke venom behind closed doors. Your daughter, and her current state of mind, is being used as the key. She does not see herself as doing harm, and her mind, she is making decisions for her own future. But she is being fed selective information, pieces of truth mixed with heavy lies, to guide her into actions that ultimately break your defenses. I see the meeting that sealed the first part of this agreement. It was not in a public office or a busy cafe. It was somewhere quiet, controlled, far from prying eyes. There were 3 people present, and your daughter was one of them. She did sign anything yet, but she gave verbal agreement. And in the spirit realm, that is already counted as a step of alignment. One of the men there is particularly dangerous. His outward appearance is polished. He speaks with authority, dresses well, and presents himself as someone who helps people secure their future. But in truth, he is a hunter of opportunities, and you are his current target. His goal is not to simply take what you own, but to ensure that you cannot rise again after the loss. The plan is almost theatrical in its execution. Step 1. Create distance between you and your daughter. Step 2. Position her to make a decision that hands over key control without her realizing the full impact. Step 3. Finalize the agreement quickly before you have a chance to intervene. Step 4. Close off all legal and personal avenues for reversal. But here's what they didn't calculate: heaven's intervention. The moment they moved forward with their hidden meeting, a divine alert was sent. Angels were assigned to bring this message to you before the deal could reach its point of no return. Already, small disruptions have been sent their way. One man involved has had 2 important calls drop unexpectedly. A key document they needed have been delayed. These are not accidents. These are heaven's small warning shots before the larger storm. Now I must speak to you about your own role in this battle. You are not to approach your daughter with uncontrolled anger, for that will push her deeper into their arms. The enemy feeds on division. Instead, you must approach her with quiet strength, speaking not just from your mind but from the depth of love you have always held for her. There will be moments when she reacts sharply, when she defends the very people plotting against you. Do not be discouraged. These are signs of how deeply their influence has sunk in. You must hold the line and remember, this is not just about stopping a deal, it's about saving her from a path that will harm her soul. I have been shown what will happen if you take no action. The agreement will be finalized, your resources will be compromised, and your position will be weakened in the eyes of others. Worse still, the guilt your daughter will carry after realizing the truth will be heavy enough to break her spirit. But I have also been shown what will happen if you act now with wisdom. The deal will collapse, the truth will surface, and the very people plotting against you will turn on each other in desperation. Your daughter, humbled and freed from their influence, will return to you with a clearer heart. Archangel Michael says, the days ahead will be a test of your patience and resolve. Watch for a sudden shift, an unexpected call, a message that feels out of place, a conversation where someone tries to warn you but in truth is testing your awareness. These are moments to be alert, for they will reveal more than they intend. I must also tell you, one woman connected to your daughter is working as the emotional bridge between her and the main conspirator. This woman acts like a friend, even like a sisterly figure, but she is the one relaying personal information about you. She hath been rewarded for this in small ways, but her eyes are set on a larger prize. Soon, you will notice a pattern in their timing. The calls, the visits, the conversations, all will be aligned with key decisions you are making. This is because they want to stay one step ahead of you, adapting their plan to your every move. This is why silence and observation are your current greatest allies. You do not need to tell them what you know. You only need to act decisively when the proof is in your hands. And that moment will come sooner than they expect. Archangel Michael says, the curtain on this hidden theater of betrayal is about to rise, and what has been whispered in secret will be dragged into the light. You may feel the tension growing in the air around you, as if your own home has shifted into a place of quiet watchfulness. This is because heaven has already positioned angels at strategic points, both in the physical and the spiritual realm, to ensure that when the next move comes, you will see it for what it truly is. I see in the vision a night not far from now when a message will arrive to you in a way that cannot be ignored. It will be short, urgent, and unsettling, the kind of message that forces you to sit down and take a deep breath before reading further. It will not come directly from those plotting against you. It will come from someone on the edges of the situation, someone who has begun to feel guilty about what they know. This person will not tell you everything, but they will say enough to confirm your suspicions. Your words will be careful, almost coded, because they are afraid of being caught helping you. But you will recognize the truth in them immediately, and it will spark the chain of events needed to dismantle the trap. Your daughter will sense the shift before you even speak to her. There will be moments when she glances at you, as if trying to gauge whether you know more than you are saying. These glances are proof that deep inside, she knows something is wrong with the path she is walking, but pride and fear are holding her back from admitting it. A man influencing her will not take this lightly. The moment he suspects you may be hesitating, he will increase his efforts. He will use charm, urgency, and even subtle threats disguised as concern to keep her under his sway. And this is where your strength will become a weapon. You must remain a steady presence, unshaken, unbroken, and unwilling to be provoked into rash action. The enemy's hope is that you will explode in anger, pushing your daughter further away. Instead, you will rise with calm authority, a force they cannot predict or manipulate. In the days to come, expect small deceptions to your routines. A meeting you plan may be cancelled at the last minute, a document you need may go missing, only to reappear later. A person you barely know may approach you in public with a strange, almost nervous look in their eyes. All of these will be signs that the spiritual battle is reaching its peak. I am being shown a specific moment, a table with a single envelope resting on it. Inside is a paper that could finalize the betrayal or destroy it entirely, depending on how you respond. You will know when this moment arrives because the air itself will feel heavy. As if time slows and your spirit tells you, this is it. When you touch this envelope, your decision will determine the course of the next chapter of your life. This is why I have been sent to prepare you, so that when the moment comes, you will act without hesitation, guided by the knowledge that heaven has already marked you for victory. There is a woman in the shadows of this plan whose presence you have not yet noticed. She is not the leader, but she is the messenger, the one who carries updates between those involved. Without her, the plan would be slower, less coordinated. This woman believes she is untouchable because she has kept herself in the background, but her downfall will be swift once her name surfaces. I have seen her in the vision. Her voice low, her eyes shifting when she speaks, her words carefully chosen to avoid direct implication. She has been using social gatherings and casual conversations as opportunities to slip in small pieces of misinformation about you. This is not just to damage your reputation, but to weaken your standing so that when the deal is exposed, fewer people will come to your defense. Your role is critical to the enemy, but heaven will expose her through her own arrogance. She will make a mistake, a slip of the tongue, an overheard comment, or an accidental message sent to the wrong person, and in that moment, the chain holding this betrayal together will snap. Archangel Michael says, you are standing on the edge of a turning point that will not only protect your future, but also redeem what is being lost in your family. God's anger toward your daughter is not eternal wrath. It is the burning fire of a parent's love that refuses to let her walk willingly into a trap that will destroy her. The disciplined coming is not to punish her but to pull her away from those who seek to devour her potential. Once the truth surfaces, there will be tears. There will be moments of silence so heavy it feels like the air has been drained from the room. But within that silence, there will also be the sound of chains breaking, the release of your name, your future, and your daughter from the grip of those who sought to control them. Do not fear what is ahead. You have already been chosen to survive this, and your victory will be so complete that those who once stood against you will scatter in different directions, unable to face the weight of their own exposure. Archangel Michael says, the day of confrontation will not come with loud warnings or flashing signs. It will arrive quietly, almost deceptively, like the calm before a great storm. You may wake up feeling a heaviness in your spirit, sensing that something important is about to happen even before the first event of the day begins. That feeling will not be wrong. It will be heaven whispering to you that the moment has come. You will notice small shifts from the very start. A phone call that is usually casual will carry tension. A person who often greets you warmly will suddenly avoid your eyes. Even the atmosphere in your home will feel slightly off, as though the air itself is holding its breath, waiting for what is to unfold. It is on this day that the plan behind your back will move to its most critical stage. The papers, the meetings, the decisions, all will be ready for the final push, but so will heaven's intervention. Angels will be positioned in places you cannot see, influencing events in ways you will only understand when you look back. I am being shown the scene. Your daughter is preparing for a meeting she has not told you about. She will appear restless, distracted, avoiding prolonged conversation with you. Somewhere inside, she will feel uneasy, but she will tell herself it is just nerves. The man at the center of this betrayal is already in motion. He has spoken with others involved, giving them final instructions. He believes the plan is secure, that your lack of visible resistance means you remain unaware. In his arrogance, he does not realize that heaven has been documenting every word he has spoken. And then, the disruption begins. It may be something small, a delayed car, a phone that dies unexpectedly, a document that refuses to print. To them, it will seem like a frustrating series of coincidences. But to you, it will be a sign, the tide is turning. Later that same day, a message will reach you, not through them, but through a third party who can no longer bear to stay silent. This person will speak carefully, their tone measured, their words chosen to reveal just enough for you to act. They will confirm your daughter's involvement, the man's influence, and the existence of the agreement meant to take what belongs to you. Reading their message, you will feel both the sting of betrayal and the surge of resolve. There will be no more room for hesitation. You will gather what you know, prepare your words, and set your heart for the conversation that must take place. This will not be an easy conversation. But it will be necessary. And though the enemy believes it, will push your daughter closer to them. It will instead begin breaking the spell they have woven over her. When you speak to her, start not with accusation but with truth. Tell her what you know, not in the form of guesses, but as undeniable facts. Mention details they never thought you would find out. Show her that nothing remains hidden from the eyes of heaven. At first she may deny it. She may grow defensive, even angry, claiming you are mistaken. But watch her closely. The flicker in her eyes. The way her hands move. The subtle change in her voice. These will betray the fact that your words have struck the truth she has been trying to ignore. She will begin to realize that the man influencing her is not acting out of love or care, but out of ambition and self-interest. She will remember small inconsistencies in his stories, moments when his promises didn't match his actions. These memories will start to weaken his hold on her. Archangel Michael says, "This is the moment you must hold steady, do not press too hard, and do not retreat. Simply let the truth stand in the space between you." The truth is powerful enough to do its work without the need for shouting or threats. When she leaves the room after this conversation, she will carry your words with her. The enemy will sense her doubt immediately and will try to drown it out with reassurance, charm, and false urgency. But it will not work the same way it once did, because the seed of truth has already been planted. At night, she will lie awake, turning over everything in her mind. She will begin to see the plan for what it truly is, and the more she sees, the more she will feel the pull to distance herself from those who have been using her as their tool. Then comes the breaking point. A meeting is scheduled for finalization of the deal, the signing, the exchange, the moment they believe will seal your fate. But your daughter will not arrive with the same blind loyalty they expect. Instead, she will carry the hesitation born from your conversation and heaven's constant nudges. Midway through the meeting, she will make a choice. It will not be loud or dramatic, but it will be firm. She will refuse to give the final consent they need. This will cause shock, frustration, and even anger among those present. Voices will rise, accusations will fly, and their carefully constructed plan will begin to crumble. By the time they realize they cannot proceed without her, the window for their attack will have closed. Heaven's timing will ensure that all other avenues for them to harm you will collapse at the same time. Archangel Michael says, the collapse will begin slowly, almost invisibly, but it will grow with unstoppable force. At first, the conspirators will try to mask their frustration, speaking in calm voices and forcing polite smiles. But beneath the surface, their panic will be rising like floodwaters, because they will know the deal cannot move forward without your daughter's final agreement. The man who has been at the center of this plot will attempt to regain control. You will lean in toward her, lowering his voice, trying to invoke fear or guilt. You will remind her of promises, paint pictures of a future without you, and even hint at consequences if she changes her mind, but for the first time, she will hear him differently. The words that once sounded convincing will now sound hollow and desperate. I see her eyes in the vision. They will shift from uncertainty to clarity in a single moment. She will stand a little straighter, her voice will grow steadier, and she will speak words that cut straight through their plans. Her refusal will be final, and it will carry the weight of heaven's authority behind it. The room will change instantly. The polite masks will fall away, and the true faces of the conspirators will be revealed. The man's charm will evaporate, replaced by sharp anger. The woman who has been passing messages between them will tense, realizing her role is now in danger of being exposed. And the third party involved will look to the others with fear, unsure whether to stay loyal or to distance themselves. It will be in this moment that the cracks in their unity begin to split wide open. Blame will be passed around, voices will rise, and suspicion will poison their alliance. The very group that conspired against you will turn on each other faster than you imagine. Your daughter will walk out of that place not as a pawn, but as a witness, carrying with her the realization that she has been standing on the wrong side. She may feel shame for her part in the events, but the truth is, her decision to walk away will be the turning point that saves both her and you. That same day, you will receive news, either through her directly or through another source, that the deal has been stopped. The papers will remain unsigned, the transaction incomplete. And just like that, the mountain that was rising against you will crumble into dust. But heaven will not stop there. The exposure will not be partial, it will be complete. Documents, recordings, and testimonies will surface, revealing the full extent of what was planned against you. The people once convinced by the conspirators' lies will now see the true. Their credibility will shatter, and their influence will weaken in the eyes of everyone who once trusted them. And you will be left standing, not broken, but stronger than before. Archangel Michael says, God's anger toward your daughter will begin to lift, replaced by the tender but firm hand of correction. The lessons you will carry from this will mark her for life, guiding her to discern who she trusts and how she chooses her path. You not be surprised if she comes to you quietly at first, not knowing how to face you. She will want to speak but may struggle to find the right words. When this happens, meet her with the balance of truth and grace, letting her know that you see her mistakes, but also that you see her return. There will be a moment, days or weeks later, when she will break down and tell you everything. She will confess details you did not know, filling in the gaps of how the plan was formed and how she was pulled into it. This will not only bring closure, but it will also provide you with the full picture of what heaven saved you from. In the spiritual realm, I see heaven preparing a seal, a divine confirmation that this battle has ended in your favor. This seal will manifest in the form of a sign so specific that you will have no doubt it comes from God. It may be a sudden financial breakthrough, the return of something you thought was lost, or a message from someone you had long been separated from. When this sign comes, you will feel the atmosphere around you change. The heaviness will lift. The undercurrent of anxiety that has been present for weeks will fade. And in its place, there will be peace, a peace that feels unshakable, because it is anchored in the knowledge that heaven intervened on your behalf. The enemy will know they have lost. Their whispers will fade, their meetings will end, and their names will carry the weight of exposure. Some may try to repair their image, but the truth will follow them wherever they go. Archangel Michael says, your future is no longer in danger. What they meant for destruction has been turned into your testimony. And though the battle was fierce, the victory will echo far beyond this single event. It will protect you from similar attacks in the future, because now you are more aware, more guarded, and more connected to the voice of heaven. Stand firm in this truth. You were not spared by chance. You were spared because you are marked for a destiny that no hidden deal, no betrayal, and no deception can take away. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks with contributions of up to $1.20. Archangel Michael says, the ripples of this collapse will reach farther than the conspirators ever feared. The moment your daughter walked out of that meeting, a shift occurred in the spiritual and physical realms alike. The foundations of their alliance, built on greed and manipulation, began to crack in ways that cannot be repaired. The man at the center of it all will not take the humiliation well. He will make frantic calls that evening, trying to pull together another strategy. But his tone will be different now, no longer confident and commanding, but sharp, impatient, and tinged with desperation. Those who once admired his composure will hear the change in his voice and start to doubt whether he is as untouchable as he claimed. The messenger woman, the one who carried information between them, will feel her position slipping. She will try to distance herself from the fallout, quietly deleting messages, avoiding calls, and pretending she had little involvement. But she will not escape. Heaven's timing will bring forth evidence that ties her to the plot, sealing her fate in the eyes of everyone who mattered to her before. Within days, conversations will begin among people you never suspected were watching. They will speak of the failed deal in hushed tones, passing along their own versions of events. But no matter how the story changes from mouth to mouth, one truth will remain constant. You emerged untouched while the ones who plotted against you are scrambling in the aftermath. Your daughter will not fully understand the magnitude of what just happened until she begins to see how quickly these people fall apart without their plan in motion. She will notice how their confidence fades, how their unity breaks down, and how they begin to treat each other with suspicion instead of loyalty. These observations will deepen her realization that you and Heaven's intervention saved her from a disaster far worse than you imagined. She will start to replay the last few months in her mind. The conversations that once felt so persuasive will now feel loaded with manipulation. The promises she was given will seem laughably shallow in the light of truth, and she will begin to wonder how she could have been drawn in so deeply, a question she will one day answer fully when she understands how the enemy works. Archangel Michael says, the enemy's doubtful is not only in the exposure of their plan, but also in the breaking of their influence. Even if they try to rebuild, the trust they once had from others will never be the same. Those who supported them will now hesitate, unwilling to risk being caught in another collapse. And here is the part the enemy will hate most. The very resources and connections they tried to take from you will, in time, multiply instead. Where they hoped to reduce your influence, Heaven will expand it. Where they tried to block your opportunities, new and unexpected doors will open. This is the divine reversal, and it is already in motion. But with this reversal comes responsibility. You must stay vigilant, for moments of victory often attract new challengers. The enemy will not dare to strike in the same way again, but others may attempt different tactics. This is why your discernment will be sharper now, because you have seen firsthand how betrayal is born in silence and smiles. And the days after the collapse, you will notice changes in your daughter. At first, they may be subtle, a softer tone when she speaks to you, a longer pause before she reacts defensively, a look in her eyes that suggests she is carrying the weight of what she almost lost. But as time passes, these small shifts will grow into visible transformation. There will be an evening when she sits with you, perhaps over a meal or in the quiet of your home, and she will finally speak openly. Your words will come slowly at first, as if she is afraid to start, but once she begins, the truth will pour out. She will tell you details you hadn't known, how they approached her, what they promised. How they convinced her that you were in the way of her future. Hearing this will hurt, but it will also confirm how deliberate the enemy's strategy was. It will strengthen your resolve to guard your home and relationships with greater care. And it will allow your daughter to release the burden of secrecy she has been carrying for too long. Archangel Michael says, God's anger was never meant to destroy her, it was meant to stop her, and now, as she turns away from the path she was walking, heaven's mercy will begin to wrap around her like a shield. This restoration will not happen in one moment. It will be a process, but each step will bring her closer to the person she was meant to be. You will see her begin to avoid certain people, even without you telling her to. She will grow less interested in the places and conversations that once drew her in. And slowly, the spiritual fog that clouded her judgment will lift, replaced by a clarity she will not want to lose again. This is the redemption in the story, not just that the enemy failed, but that the one they tried to use against you will now stand beside you, aware of the truth and unwilling to be deceived again. Archangel Michael says, the aftermath will not be a quiet ending. It will be a slow unraveling of those who thought themselves untouchable. The man who orchestrated the betrayal will spend the following weeks trying to repair his image. But every attempt will only make his desperation more visible. People will begin to whisper about how he's not the same anymore, how his charm has worn thin, and how something must have gone wrong. In his world, reputation is currency, and his is now in free fall. He will lose not only the deal against you but also the confidence of others who once trusted him with their own ventures. One by one, those connections will fade until he finds himself surrounded only by those who need him for their own survival. People who, like him, are clinging to scraps of influence. The messenger woman will face her own reckoning. The very people she fed information to will now see her as a liability. Someone who talks too much when pressured. She will sense this shift and try to retreat into silence, but her sudden withdrawal will raise suspicion. And before long, her involvement will be confirmed by something she overlooked, a recorded conversation, an email, or a witness willing to speak. You will not have to lift a hand for this exposure to happen. Heaven will orchestrate every detail. What they plotted in darkness will collapse in light, piece by piece, until nothing remains hidden. Meanwhile, your life will begin to feel different. The tension that had been lingering for months will start to fade, conversations in your home will feel lighter. Even your sleep will become deeper as the spiritual pressure lifts from your space. But the greatest change will be in your daughter. She will carry herself differently, as if a weight had been removed from her shoulders. Where she once defended people who didn't deserve it, she will now guard her words. Where she once resisted your counsel, she will now listen more carefully. This is not just her learning from a mistake. It is her awakening. Archangel Michael says, you will have moments with her that you thought you might never get back, simple conversations, without tension. Shared laughter without suspicion. A sense of mutual trust slowly rebuilding between you. These moments will not erase what happened, but they will make the scars less heavy. Do not underestimate the power of this restoration. The enemy's greatest victory would have been to permanently divide you and your daughter, but instead, heaven has turned this into a testimony, proof that even the most strategic betrayal cannot win when God steps in. There will come a day when she tells someone else the story, not to shame herself, but to warn them. She will speak from experience about how easy it is to fall into the hands of those who seem generous but carry hidden agendas. And when she does, she will be planting seeds of protection for others, just as you once tried to do for her. The sign from heaven confirming that this battle is fully over will arrive unexpectedly. It will not come in the form you might imagine. It will not be a dream or a vision, but something physical, tangible, and impossible to dismiss. It could be an unexpected financial breakthrough that erases a lingering burden. It could be the sudden return of something valuable that was once lost, or it could be a message from someone who was distant for years, offering help or connection at just the right moment. When you see this sign, you will know instantly what it means. The timing will be too perfect, the detail too exact. It will feel like heaven stamping the word victory across this chapter of your life. And in that moment, you will feel the last remnants of anxiety melt away. Archangel Michael says, this chapter is closing. But the lessons will remain. You have seen how betrayal moves, how it hides behind smiles, and how it chooses the closest to you as its vehicle. But you have also seen how heaven intercepts, how the smallest disruption can derail a dangerous plan, and how truth has a power that no deception can overcome. What they meant for harm has become your shield. And though you will walk into the future with more caution, you will also walk with more confidence because you now know that you are not walking alone. Archangel Michael says, the ripples of this intervention will not just protect you for a season, they will change the landscape of your future entirely. Every person who had a hand in this betrayal will carry the mark of exposure. And that mark will follow them wherever they try to hide. In the spiritual realm, I see their paths darkening, opportunities drying up, and the same deception they used against you now turning inward to destroy their unity from the inside out. The man who orchestrated this deal will soon find himself cornered. Once admired for his confidence and persuasion, he will discover that those qualities no longer hold the same weight. People will begin to speak about him differently, not with respect, but with cautious distance. His name will move from being spoken with admiration to being whispered with suspicion. The messenger woman will not escape the consequences either. For a time, she will try to carry on as if nothing happened, but her body language will betray her. She will avoid certain people, take longer pauses when answering questions, and stumble over words when caught off guard. These cracks will be noticed, and one day, her name will surface in a conversation that she cannot control. From there, her part in the plan will unravel quickly. You, however, will not need to move in the shadows or hide from anyone. Your presence will remain steady and unshaken. The truth will become your armor, and your calm will be a silent reminder to others that heaven has already handled the matter. In the days following the collapse, you will notice an unexpected shift in the energy around you. It will feel lighter, clearer, as though the spiritual atmosphere have been cleansed. Conversations in your home will flow without the invisible tension that once sat between words. Even your physical surroundings will seem brighter, as if the weight of hidden darkness has been lifted away. Your daughter will be part of this change. Her eyes will no longer carry the guarded defensiveness they once did. Instead, there will be a softness, a vulnerability that had been hidden beneath the influence of those who sought to use her. She will not return to you overnight. Trust takes time, but every day, you will see signs that she is stepping back toward the light. Archangel Michael says. One evening, she will sit near you and, without being asked, begin to speak about things she had kept hidden. At first, it will be fragments, a name here, a place there, an uneasy feeling she ignored at the time. As she speaks, the words will begin to come faster, her voice catching with the weight of what she is confessing. You will hear about the promises they made her, promises of independence, of opportunities, of a future where she could finally be free. But every one of those promises had a hidden hook. They told her what she wanted to hear, but their real plan was to drain what you had built until nothing remained. Her voice will tremble when she admits how close she came to handing them everything. She will tell you about the pressure, the subtle threats, the way they framed you as an obstacle instead of a protector. It will hurt to hear, but it will also confirm just how deep their manipulation ran, and just how much heaven has saved you both from. After this conversation, there will be a moment of quiet between you. She may not be able to meet your eyes right away, but when she finally does, it will be with a look that says more than words can carry. It will be a silent apology, a recognition of the truth, and a plea for a second chance all in one. And this is where the healing begins. You will not need to force it or rush it. Trust rebuilt through truth will grow stronger than it ever was before. Slowly, the bond that was strained will become unbreakable. In the weeks that follow, she will make changes that surprise even you. She will cut ties with the ones who tried to pull her away. She will avoid the places where she once met them. And in her actions you will see the evidence of her transformation, not because you demanded it, but because she has finally seen for herself the danger she was in. Archangel Michael says, Heaven will give you a sign that this chapter is fully closed. It will not be vague or easy to dismiss. It will be so specific, so perfectly timed, that you will know it is the seal of victory over this matter. This sign could come in the form of an unexpected breakthrough. A new opportunity, a financial blessing, or the return of something you believed was gone forever. Or it could arrive as a message from someone distant, carrying words that confirm exactly what you have been sensing in your spirit. When this sign comes, you will feel it instantly, your heart will recognize it before your mind processes it. And in that moment, the final trace of anxiety about this situation will be gone. Peace will settle over you like a covering, and you will know with absolute certainty that this betrayal will never rise against you again. Your enemies will not recover their power. Even if they try to build again, the memory of this collapse will haunt them. Doors that once opened for them will now remain shut. People who once rushed to work with them will step back, unwilling to risk association. And you, the one they targeted, will stand as proof that no hidden deal, no whispered plan, no betrayal, can stand against the shield of heaven. Archangel Michael says, the closing of this chapter will be marked not only by the fall of your enemies but by the restoration of what they tried to take. This restoration will not happen in one single wave, but in a series of undeniable events that leave you in awe of heaven's precision. Each victory will arrive at just the right time, erasing the damage they planned and replacing it with something greater than you had before. In the first wave, you will notice an opportunity come to you without you chasing it. Someone will reach out, perhaps a connection from your past or an acquaintance you barely remember, offering help, partnership, or a chance to expand something you've been working toward. This will be the beginning of the reversal, the turning of the tide that ensures your future remains untouched by their betrayal. The second wave will come as a quiet but powerful shift in your relationships. People who had been distant or uncertain toward you will begin to approach you again. Some will admit they believed lies about you, while others will simply act as if nothing happened, but their presence will be a sign that the damage to your reputation is gone. Where the enemy tried to isolate you, heaven will surround you with more genuine allies than before. The third wave will be deeply personal. Your daughter will not only avoid the influence of those who deceived her, she will begin actively protecting you from anything that resembles what happened. She will be more cautious, more aware, and more willing to listen to your discernment. This change will not come because she fears your disappointment, but because she now understands the danger you were trying to protect her from. One evening, you will notice her watching you quietly as you speak about something unrelated to the past. There will be gratitude in her eyes, not necessarily for the material things you've given her, but for the fact that you stood between her and the trap she almost fell into. She will not need to say much. Her actions will show you everything you need to know about her renewed loyalty and love. And this shift will be the greatest victory of all, because the enemy's true goal was never just to take from you. It was to divide you, to turn your own family into a weapon against you. But that plan has failed completely, and now your bond is stronger than it was before they interfered. Archangel Michael says, your enemies will begin to feel the weight of their own actions pressing down on them. In the stillness of the night, they will replay the choices they made and the ways they justified them. For some, this will bring guilt that eats away at their confidence. For others, it will turn into paranoia, making them suspicious even of those who once worked alongside them. The man who led this plot will find that the doors he once walked through with ease now seem closed or guarded. Meetings that once ended in handshakes will now end in polite dismissals. People will smile at him in public but speak about his failures in private. You will feel the sting of invisibility where he once thrived on attention. The messenger woman will experience her own form of isolation. Friends she counted on will keep their distance, afraid of being caught in the fallout of her exposure. Key will try to move into new circles. But her reputation will follow her, whispered from year to year until no one is willing to trust her. Meanwhile, you will feel the opposite. Doors will open. People will approach you. Opportunities will multiply. It will be as if heaven is publicly demonstrating that those who plot in secret against the innocent cannot succeed, while those who stand in truth will always be lifted up in due time. There will be a moment, perhaps months after this is over, when someone will come to you quietly and admit they knew something was wrong but didn't have the courage to warn you. Their words will confirm just how close the danger came, and you will feel once again the depth of heaven's intervention. When you look back on this season, you will not just remember the pain of the betrayal. You will remember the moments of divine interruption, the delays, the disruptions, the sudden hesitations that stopped their plan from reaching completion, and you will know without doubt that you were carried through it by a power far greater than yourself. Archangel Michael says, now, you are walking into a season where what was meant to destroy you will instead prepare you. You will see through false smiles more quickly. You will notice subtle shifts in energy before a word is spoken. You will trust the warnings in your spirit without second-guessing them. The enemy will think twice before approaching you again. Not because you are untouchable in the earthly sense, but because you are guarded by a presence they cannot penetrate, they will sense it and know that any attack against you is an attack against heaven itself. And when the final sign from God comes, the one that confirms this battle is fully over, it will be so unmistakable that even your enemies will recognize it. They may not admit it out loud, but they will know they lost, and you were never truly in their grasp.